Have you ever wondered what it's like to be a young genius everyone is talking about and then not play for 5 months in a row? Well, today we're going to talk about exactly such a case. A guy who was supposed to become Real Madrid's new phenomenon, but is now going through perhaps the most difficult period of his career. This is the story of 19-year-old Endrick, a Brazilian talent who has not played for over 150 days. Madridistas, I ask each of you to like this video. Thank you. And let's begin. The story of Endrick Felipe is a journey from the football fields of Brazil to the most famous club in the world. In 2024, as soon as he turned 18, he became a Real Madrid player. He was called the heir to Pelé and Ronaldo, and at Santiago Bernabeu, they believed they had hit the jackpot by beating Barcelona in the race for the prodigy. Madrid paid 35 million euros, plus another 25 million could be paid as various bonuses. And now, even some members of Real Madrid's board feel that the money was wasted, just like with Rainier, when in January 2020, the new Toni Kroos from Brazil was bought for 30 million euros but never made it into the first team. An absolute failure. This story shows that not all top talents from Latin America managed to settle in our favorite club. Or take the example of Vitor Roque from Barcelona. He arrived at the age of 19 in January 2024 and returned to Brazil in February of the following year. That's an absolute failure. These stories show that not all top talents from Latin America managed to settle in Real or Barcelona. So what happened? And what's going on with the player right now? Last time Endrick played was back on May 18th in a match against Sevilla. Since then, everything has changed. Carlo Ancelotti left. He was replaced by Xabi Alonso. The player himself suffered 2 muscle injuries at once, and rumors began to circulate about a possible loan move away from the club. In particular, there were options involving Juventus, Real Sociedad, Bournemouth, and even PSG. But the outcome of the transfer saga turned out to be unexpected. He was given the legendary number 9. Yes, the very same number that belonged to Di Stefano, Ronaldo, and Karim Benzema. It sounds like a dream and a direct message from the club. We count on you and see you as a future legend. For the 3rd international window in a row, Endrick has not been called up to the Brazil national team. Carlo Ancelotti is still ignoring him and last spoke about his ex-prodigy back in September. He has great talent. The problem for young players who move to Europe is that here, in Brazil, they play a leading role, but over there, they no longer do. I coached Endrick and truly grew fond of him both as a person and as a professional. Competition in a big team is important, but it can slightly affect a player's development. His last appearance for the Seleção came during a 1-4 loss to Argentina in March 2025, which led to the dismissal of coach Dorival Jr. The competition within the national team is absolutely fierce. There are contenders for his spot such as João Pedro, Richarlison, Igor Jesus, Matheus Cunha, Martinelli, and even Vitor Roque, who has hit outstanding form at Palmeiras. And if we're talking about making the squad for the World Cup, then it's just a disaster. Add Neymar to this list as well, who needs to get back in shape and absolutely has to come to what will be the last World Cup of his career. All these details point to one thing. Endrick needs to play and must get regular game time. This is critically important for his development. People familiar with his situation in Madrid told The Athletic that Alonso explained to Endrick that it would be difficult for him to get regular playing time with the new team this season, but the Brazilian still decided to stay at the Santiago Bernabeu. There is a lot of competition right now, both in Endrick's position and in the surrounding areas. His time will come, Alonso said last week before the game against Villarreal. In the match against Villarreal, when our team won 3-1, Endrick was on the squad list but remained on the bench for the 5th game in a row. During his first season, when the forward began to feel that he was capable of playing a more prominent role, the management showed him the debut season statistics of other Brazilian talents to convince him that everything was going according to plan. Endrick played 37 matches for the first team in all competitions, which is more than the 31 matches Vinicius played and the 26 matches Rodrigo played in their debut seasons. Although Vinicius and Rodrigo spent significantly more time on the pitch, 1,742 minutes and 1,428 minutes respectively, Endrick is showing great productivity. In the 847 minutes allotted to him, he has scored 7 goals, the same as Rodrigo in the 2019-2020 season, and even 3 more than Vinicius did the year before. By the way, if you're interested in following real players' statistics in real time, check out our Real Life app. There you'll find everything from match results to inside news from Valdebebas. Behind the scenes at the club, there was a belief that Ancelotti's cautious approach to using young players was the main reason why Endrick didn't get more playing time. When journalists asked Ancelotti about the Brazilian Angular in May, the Italian explained that for promising players of their age at Real, it's typical to spend some time on the bench until they prove they're ready to consistently start in the lineup. Carlo has always had a well-drilled, reliable starting 11 that he relied on in important matches. With such a rational approach, the Brazilian had very few chances. Alonso's arrival coincided with the start of the Club World Cup. And for Endrick and the other young players, this could have been a chance to start with a clean slate. But for the player himself, things turned out very differently. A factor that had a major impact on him was the two injuries that limited his opportunities on the field. The first was a hamstring injury in the match against Sevilla in May, which took away his chance to play in the Club World Cup in the USA. While his teammates and the new coach went to the tournament, Endrick stayed in Spain, undergoing intensive rehabilitation at the club's facilities and at home with his personal trainer. 3 training sessions a day, constant work on his physical condition, all to get back in the game as quickly as possible. But in the meantime, his position was brilliantly filled by academy striker Gonzalo Garcia. At the Club World Cup, the 21-year-old player scored 4 goals in 6 matches, won the tournament's Golden Boot, and made full use of Kylian Mbappe's absence due to illness during the 3 group stage matches. Endrick realized that losing time could be critical for him, so he went to the United States at the end of June to be closer to the new coach and staff. He began his recovery separately from the team in Palm Beach, not far from Miami, where Madrid's base was located. However, during his first joint training session with the main team, he suffered a recurrence of the same injury. The club did not disclose medical details, but the players and coaches went on summer vacation. After the semi-final defeat to PSG on July 9th, this was a serious blow for Endrick. He was unable to play until September and was forced to start the adaptation process from scratch. Upon returning to Madrid, Endrick married Gabriela Miranda. First, the official ceremony took place in Brazil, followed by a celebration at a country estate in Spain with family and friends. The couple went on their honeymoon to Japan, bringing along Endrick's personal trainer to continue his recovery work. Amidst all these events, rumors about a possible transfer were constantly circulating. But we all know how it ended. In August, Endrick received important news. He will become Real Madrid's number 9, although we still haven't seen him wearing it on the field yet. Initially, it was planned that Gonzalo, who was close to renewing his contract with the first team, would get it. Endrick was undergoing recovery under the close supervision of specialists, and this period was not only about physical fitness, but also about helping him better understand his own body. Muscle injuries that dated back to his time at Palmeiras, combined with the 2 most recent injuries, made the recovery process lengthy and required personal discipline. Mid-September. Alonso's staff is closely monitoring Endrick's progress. However, even Gonzalo, who got a chance to prove himself at the Club World Cup and made brilliant use of it, hardly plays because of Kylian Mbappe's incredible productivity. Endrick has an incredible instinct for scoring. He needs very little to finish a chance. He knows how to find space and finish precisely, Alonso noted. On September 20th, Endrick was included in the squad for the match against Espanyol, but remained on the bench. The following La Liga and Champions League matches also went by without him getting on the field. Right now, it's the international break. Endrick is staying in Madrid and is actively preparing for his return to the football pitch, which could happen as soon as the upcoming match against Getafe. Due to limited playing time at Real and not being called up to the national team, his team decided to stick to a strategic plan. In January, they would assess the situation and determine the best way for him to get regular game time. This could include a loan for the second half of the season if more matches are needed. And here an interesting detail emerges. Several European clubs have already shown interest. Olympique Marseille, who gave us a very decent fight at the Bernabeu, seems like a strong option. Also, according to sources, PSV, Leipzig, and even Villarreal are keeping an eye on the Brazilian. Getafe could also become a potential destination. Enrique's agent, Thiago Freitas from Rock Nation, emphasized Endrick is confident about his return to the field. He has already proven that he can make the most of every minute on the pitch. Indeed, 7 goals in 847 minutes of playing time gives an average of 0.74 goals per 90 minutes. This is an impressive result for a 19-year-old forward. At Real, they note his maturity, dedication, and talent. However, the young player has to remain patient, wait for his moment, and work on making sure that when the chance comes to play under Alonso, he can show his best. So will Endrick be able to break through and live up to all the expectations? After all, he's competing for playing time with almost the entire large group of attackers, including Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo, Mastantuono, Güler, Brahim, Bellingham, and Gonzalo Garcia. For now, his situation looks rather bleak. Madridistas, what do you think? Write your thoughts in the comments. Stay tuned so you don't miss a single moment of his journey. Subscribe, leave a like, and of course, Hala Madrid!